Let the games begin! Ladies and gentlemen, we are live here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the only platform where all music, all sports, and all wrestling matters. And you might want to say, after the end of Christmas Chaos 3, the chaos has already begun. But ladies and gentlemen, it was at the expense of Caden Gallows. We're going to talk about that with our guests. We're going to talk about really well what everyone had talked about in the backyard in the underground wrestling circuit was there couldn't be a way to end this man's career in BCW the way that everyone thought. Nah, not so fast, especially with the direction of BCW as we know it, and especially with a man on top in BCW like Caden Gallows. We're going to talk about this man's future. We're going to talk about Tsunami. We're going to talk about maybe some other things like Ace Swagger, maybe even a few words about Tommy Good. But we're going to talk about this all started a few short years ago. And you think about, ladies and gentlemen, where BCW is today on that faithful day, August 4th, 2021, the first day that BCW started. And this man was a part of the first match in BCW history, the first show. He couldn't have went out the way he was going to go out this past weekend, not especially if people like Caden Gallows are on top. He's going to talk about that. He's going to talk about what's next. And we're going to have plenty to say. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to certainly get this show off here in style on Sportzwire Radio because it was this man here. He was the first person from BCW to come on Sportswire Radio more than 15 months ago, Labor Day 2024. And you look at where BCW has been then and where it is now and where it will be in 2026 with this man here in BCW. So, ladies and gentlemen, in the last show before jolly old St. Nick comes down that Christmas tree here on Sportswire Radio, I must give this man a front man of a like introduction because here he helped build this platform before all those WWE guys came on this platform where Caden Gallows wishes he could be. But he's here, and this man's going to tell us why. As I stated to open up, let the games begin. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get this show off here in style on Sportswire Radio, the number one global radio station where all music, all sports, and all wrestling matters. So, with that, without further ado, here on the Sports Report, number one global sports show. He is the frontman of one of the premier companies, not just in backyard, not just in underground, but of all of wrestling. A two-time BCW champion. His name is simply put, Maxel Reeves, the frontman of BCW, is here. My friend, how are we doing?
Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas to you. We are doing great, Tom. It is, man, when Christmas is
Yeah, fired up. After that, who knew the frontman Maxel Reeves really is a frontman, ladies and gentlemen? He can really hold a tune. Who knows? Nat King Cole, maybe it's time to move over because Maxel Reeves is certainly going to be singing Chestnuts Roasting on an Open Fire, but maybe at the expense of Caden Gallows.
Oh, absolutely. At the expense of Caden Gallows and what's on everyone's mind coming out of Christmas chaos. Why did you do it? Why did you betray your friend? I mean, he gave such a beautiful, heartfelt speech. I mean, you hear the words. I mean, I almost shed a tear. Oh, I'm gonna shed a tear listening to all those words. Oh, he cared so much about me. He cared so much about me. But that was exactly what it was. It was just words. Because then his actions showed a different story. His actions showed a man who was content leaving this company. He told me that he was going to give his all. He told me that he was going to build BCW, and then he leaves for 3 months. At the worst possible time to leave, mind you, after Trampomania. At the time, Tsunami, my arch nemesis, took the BCW championship. He left. Caden Gallows was content leaving. He's like, oh, I'll be back when, he's well and trained and everything. And it wasn't enough. This training that he got at Black and Brave Wrestling Academy, one of the best schools, a WWE ID school, one of the best schools. But no, it wasn't enough because Caden Gallows needed to go behind the scenes and have his friend Ace Swagger deceive everybody, making everyone think that he's aligned with Tsunami. He ruined my championship opportunity at BCW 160. And Caden Gallows really did this whole coup just to deceive BCW, and now he ends up with himself as BCW champion. The only reason he is BCW champion is because he had Ace Swagger do the big swerve at Scare Slam, which led to that moment. So Caden Gallows is just a fraud, and frankly, I think the company's suffering under Caden Gallows, but in viewership and morale and everything. Caden Gallows is a fraud. He's not who he says he is. At least Tsunami's honest. At least he's honest. That's all I got to say to just to open up here. I know we got a lot to discuss.
Boy, we're definitely, as we stated, let the games be. Let me ask you then this question, because it's funny you talked about the direction of BCW and you talked about how things are right now in the company. And one of the things I had opened up with when Tsunami was here before Christmas Chaos 3, and everybody, by the way, go hit the sub button for BCW and go watch it because you definitely want to watch it regardless of if the views are up or down or not. But we had talked about the direction of BCW and also Tsunami had addressed it a few shows back before Christmas Chaos 3. And in his words, BCW is in the shits right now. And it sounds to me the way you opened it up, you probably feel the same way. So talk to me about why you feel things are the way they are at the moment in BCW.
Well, Tom, looking at things realistically, 2025 was still the most successful year of our career. We still have a lot to look back on.
First year of the company's history, there was a video every single month.
Yes, our commentary pointed that out. Christmas Chaos, a great call, and absolutely true. It's the first year that we've had videos every single month being consistent throughout the year. Best year of the company by far, but I feel that towards the end, we just completely fell apart. For a litany of reasons, people maybe not able to make it as much, life getting busy, all that stuff happens. Yeah. But I think the bill starts with the champ at the end of the day. And whoever that champ is, if that champ's somebody who's got a prominent name, if that champ's somebody who's at the top of the card or deserves to be, and the audience knows that, they're going to keep tuning in. They're going to want to see who the champ's got next. That's how it was when I was BCW champion.
Yep.
That's how it was when Tsunami was BCW champion. Didn't like it at the time. His title reign came at my expense. But at the end of the day, people showed up. And as a man of business, as a man who wants to see this company that I work so hard for advance, that's all I care about. The bottom line is if we're continuing to rise in the metrics that matter and viewership and subscriber counts, how's our current audience feeling about the product, all that stuff. That's all things I deeply, deeply, sincerely care about. And Caden Gallows, that's the difference between men like myself and Tsunami. We care about that stuff. Caden Gallows is just, did I win the match? Am I at the top of the card? Am I in the main event? Did I win this? Did I win that? What accolades can I get? How can I make this? How can I make myself look as good as I can as I use this as a stepping stone to get where I've been? Caden Gallows wants to use BCW as a stepping stone to get to the prime time. I want to bring the prime time to BCW. That's the difference between Maxel Reeves, Caden Gallows.
That's an interesting point, and I know there's a lot of people here in the chat that want to talk to you. I'll get to you shortly. But we've always talked about on Sportswire that the buck stops here with those who are on top. It's the champion, right? And right now, you had made some points that since Caden Gallows has won the BCW championship, maybe engagements have kind of leveled off. Viewership is certainly, it's out there. The numbers speak for themselves. And overall interest in BCW maybe wasn't the way it was viewed when you were champion, or even, the man that was previously champion who you aligned yourself with Tsunami. So I guess then from what you just said, it's fair to say that you agree with the statement that the buck stops here with the guy on top, and the guy right now on top is Caden Gallows. And that's kind of why BCW is maybe leveled off in engagements and viewership and such other things.
Yeah, the subscriber count's still going up. Viewership, we're slowly getting that back to where we should. But the only reason we ever had a dip, in my opinion, was because of Caden Gallows. That is my honest, genuine opinion. It is all Caden Gallows' fault. It is entirely his fault that we had this slight decline in viewership. And I really do believe that if it was me or Tsunami still with the championship, things would look a lot different. So Christmas Chaos, that was this alignment, you could say. It's definitely a business decision. We want to take the top 2 guys there's ever been in BCW. Me and Tsunami have 4 combined BCW championships. If you take away those 4 combined title reigns, the rest of the roster has 3 BCW championships. So that's just a testament to what these 2 guys, myself and Tsunami, mean to BCW and how important we are to this company's success. There's a reason we've had so much success in this company. It is because our success is equivalent to BCW's success. Caden Gallows, not the case at all.
And what's always been behind you every time you've been on here since Labor Day of 24 is that BCW banner. That banner, that means something to you. And Caden Gallows walked away from BCW. It is well documented. He walked away from this company. And I know as somebody who brought Caden Gallows into this company, that had to have bothered you almost more than anything else.
Infuriated me. Seeing him go off, he thanked me for inspiring this passion, this dream of professional wrestling, and then in the same vein, the same breath, he leaves and goes elsewhere, even if it's for a short period. Even if he said he's going to be back, when he left, he said he didn't know when he was going to be back. Whenever he was done being trained.
He and I were talking. It's a good point because he and I were talking for months, and he was telling me. Off the air that he was going to be at Black and Brave. And, he was telling me, I'm telling you, just wait and wait. And then we waited and he came back to BCW, but he wasn't here. He talked about the drive he made the first time he had left his home confines and he went to a place and he talked about people like Seth Rollins. He talked about all these different people that were looking to go to greener pastures. And that's what he did. He turned his back. According to what you're saying on BCW, Caden Gallows, he wanted to take his ball and go elsewhere. He wanted to take his ball to go somewhere else, but forget about the company and forget about the individual that gave him that opportunity to go to a place like Black and Brave and to go to a place where Seth Rollins was there on the video screen and talking to him and talking to his other classmates. He turned his back and took his ball and went elsewhere, which meant he turned his back on you and every opportunity you gave him.
Yes. Here's what I'll say, and I can say this as concisely as this. Seth Rollins, as great of a wrestler he is, did not make Caden Gallows. Maxel Reeves made Caden Gallows. And that is just the bottom line. As regardless of what you might think of myself, there is no Caden Gallows without Maxel Reeves. And there is a Caden Gallows without Seth Rollins. How do we know that? Because Maxel Reeves made him and put him on BCW television. And all of a sudden, look at all the success he had. He had all the fandom and everything before he left for Black and Brave Wrestling Academy. And then he comes back, and when he comes back, he acts like he's grateful. He acts like that, like this still matters. But at the end of the day, I think the guy's an egotist. He's a narcissist. He thinks he's so much better than everyone else. He thinks that just because he got in the ring with Seth Rollins and with Merrick Brave, the world-renowned trainers over there. I have nothing against those guys. Nothing against those guys. Right. Nothing against those guys. But Caden Gallows himself would not be anything without us. And now for him to come back and act like all of a sudden he's Mr. Wrestling, he's the guy. He's the top of the bill. He's the guy that everyone should look to for advice. Absolutely not. Caden, we've been doing this for long before you got here, over 3 years before you stepped in the door. So that's just the way it is. We know how to run this business. We know how to run this company. And that is exactly what you witnessed at Christmas Chaos, was a full company reset, a full company takeover. And that is exactly what has happened. Tsunami and I, we're not taking any more BS. We aren't going to sit back and accept people like Caden Gallows manipulating the bill behind the scenes, having a swagger along his side and deceiving the BCW roster. No, we believe in integrity, in honesty, and respect. And those are the virtues that we're going to run this company by.
I understand in some sense, because as someone that has had many WWE wrestlers on this platform, one of the things we always talk about on Sportswire is we are thankful. We are grateful for the likes of Maxel Reeves. We are thankful. We are grateful for the likes of Tsunami and BCW coming onto Sportswire Radio for giving us the opportunities to speak with the WWE wrestlers and gracing their presence on the platform, and the heavy metal legends from Megadeth and Saliva and all these other great groups, and has gotten us there in the news. But let me go back to something else that you said, in that you mentioned the word narcissist. You called Caden Gallows a narcissist because it was funny. I heard Tsunami say the same thing in our pre-show Christmas Chaos 3 coverage. So you must elaborate on why you feel Caden Gallows is a narcissist.
Caden Gallows is a narcissist. Why do I think he's a narcissist? Well, ever since he came back, he has acted like he is Mr. Wrestling. He's the professor of professional wrestling. Like he has a PhD in WrestleNomics. Okay. Yeah, really, that is who Caden Gallows has been, and like at the end of the day, like has he gotten better? Like objectively since coming back, absolutely. I think Caden Gallows has gotten better. But as an intellectual property, do I think Caden Gallows has gotten better? No. In fact, I think he's only gotten worse. I think in those 3 months, his value has fallen off a cliff. I think before then, I mean, you look at some of the stuff he did. Look at that entrance at Trampomania. I mean, that was some incredible stuff from Caden Gallows. He comes out this dark, this brooding persona. He has the smoke bombs all around him. I mean, now that was a presence that BCW really needed. That was a presence that BCW could use to catapult ourselves to the top of the bill in both backyard and professional wrestling. That's what we could have used. So what did Caden Gallows do? He comes back and he's back in this generic. I mean, dating back to last year at Gridlock, I can't stand when Caden Gallows dresses like everybody else in the Philadelphia sports gear. Love Philly sports.
Well, Tsunami talked about that with the Rocky entrance, and you know, at this point, yeah. I mean, I hear you. I hear you.
We're all Philly guys here. We're all Philly guys, and Caden Gallows thinks that he's the biggest Eagles fan on planet Earth. He's not.
Well, everybody now is Eagles fans, you know, because the Eagles have won, 2 Super Bowls in 7 years, and the first team to have won back-to-back NFC East Division championships in over a decade. So I understand.
Yeah, but we've all worn Philadelphia sports attire, and as Caden Gallows' friend and a real friend to Caden Gallows, I didn't betray Caden Gallows. Caden Gallows betrayed me because I looked out for him in the same way Tsunami looked out for Ace Swagger. I wanted to look out for Caden Gallows since he came in. I saw the potential in this guy. The night I'll say as high praise as Caden Gallows is. This is as high praise as Caden Gallows can get. I mean, the night that I met Caden Gallows when BCW was on hiatus, I knew BCW would come back. That night when I met Caden Gallows, I knew we would come back, and in part, a lot of that was due to Caden Gallows. But the problem is like as much of a benefit he was to the company in 2024. In 2025, he has been a detriment. He has been a cancer to the company. And frankly, I feel like his presence in this company, he's overstayed his welcome, and it's time to kick him out. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do.
Well, I think that 2026 is certainly have begun here. And as Maxel had said, let the games begin. So obviously then you weren't impressed with his speech. I mean, certainly using a phone, and when we do speeches on Sportswire, I just have to memorize everything. No, we're just kidding there. We're really not. But I mean, obviously you weren't impressed with Mr. Gallows' speech, and you didn't think it was from the heart, which goes back to why Mr. Gallows is a narcissist, because reading it almost on his phone and those notes, it just seemed, I guess, to you not sincere, and that's why you knew you didn't have to say anything. You already knew in the back of your mind, even seeing how Mr. Gallows, I mean, he was smiling. You would think, right, for everything you've done for BCW, we know that BCW saved your life. We know that how much this company has meant to you. We know how much that this sport has meant to you from when you were a little small thing out here in this world. And you would think Mr. Gallows might have had a tear. You would have think there would have been just, a face that would have just been, almost sad and just teary-eyed. But yet, instead, Mr. Gallows was smiling and reading from a phone. And it just didn't come across as a speech that you would have thought would have been for a man that gave him the opportunities to have allowed him to go to greener pastures.
Tom, you're speaking my mind here. Thank you. I mean, somebody understands, right? I mean, I've got a lot of comments, a lot of DMs, people asking me why I did it. You see, you seem to completely get me. You seem to completely understand why I did it. And, the thing is, every word he said was true. Every single one of those words he said was true. It was wonderfully put together. It was wonderfully pieced together. It was very articulate, eloquent, well-spoken. But you think a big dumb oaf like Katie Gallows came up with those words? Absolutely, 100% not. That unintelligent big oaf.
Oh, are you? Wait a minute. I think I got this. You mean to tell me almost that this speech that Caden Gallows gave, maybe was it AI generated? Do you think that Caden Gallows' speech was AI generated?
Tom, Caden Gallows, come on. I mean, this guy has AI. Like, this is a ChatGPT pro subscribed user right here. This guy has the premium version of ChatGPT. He's got the premium version of Google Gemini.
I guarantee it. For those out, this is a guaranteed Instagram clip. Just mark it. Put it in the books.
Yeah, well, I'm just telling you right now. He's got Gemini Pro. He's got ChatGPT Pro. He's got what else? What else is out there? Meta AI, Grok. He's got everything.
Yeah, there's Grok. Yeah.
This guy. I mean, he's the king. He's the king of AI. He needs to use artificial intelligence because right up here, no real intelligence. I can tell you that right now.
Ooh, we're seeing the footage, and if you are on Instagram, we'll get to everybody here in the chat. I know people want to talk to you, and we appreciate everybody being here with us. But we'll get to you. Be patient. But go follow Maxel on Instagram. We'll put some BCW links up here in a second, but obviously, I mean, there is certainly a lot going through your mind here in this speech because obviously Mr. Gallows and he asked for this, and I'm sure you remember a few weeks back when he wanted you to come out after his match. I mean, in some ways, Mr. Gallows kind of had this coming. It almost reminds me of a Led Zeppelin song, Gallows Pole, and in some ways, this was Gallows Pole.
Absolutely, yeah. Him doing that, oh my gosh. I mean, how hard I had to fight the smile on my face because I knew exactly that my plan fell right into my lap at this point. I had him right where I want him, this whole retirement ruse. I ain't going nowhere. If I left BCW tomorrow, you wouldn't see no videos ever again. Gone. Maybe myself or Tsunami. I believe we're the two very most important men. And then, as you see there, that's what Caden Gallows gets for everything that I just spoke about. For the last 20 or so minutes, exactly. That's what Caden Gallows gets. And when Caden Gallows came up to me and he had the audacity to say that he deserved, or it would be an honor if he spoke or delivered some Hall of Fame induction or whatever the hell that speech was supposed to be, and he thought he deserved that. Absolutely not. Now, if you want to know who's someone who truly deserved that honor, it would be that man, Tsunami. It would be Tommy Good. Someone who's known me for the longest period of time. It's not Caden Gallows. It's not a man I made. It's a man who helped make me, and that would be Tsunami. But yeah, I was going to do this regardless. At the end of Christmas Chaos, I was going to come out there and just say, goodbye, Caden. We miss you, or I'm going to miss you. I love you. You're my friend. No. All of that was BS. But yeah, I didn't have to do any of that. Caden Gallows could do all the talking for me using, his good friend ChatGPT, Google Gemini, whatever the hell.
And also your battles with the likes of Christian Sin, your battles with others, and Mr. Gallows had been aligned with those individuals as you were on top, as you were fighting to grow BCW. Mr. Gallows wasn't always on your side.
Yeah, and the really funny thing about Caden Gallows is he hasn't gone any time in BCW. I mean, not even one singular month where he hasn't had an ally, where he hasn't had someone in his corner. And like I've lone gunned it for a long time. I've done so since mid 2024 all the way up through the end of 2025 now, and now I'm entering into a new business partnership that I think is for the betterment of BCW. But yeah, Caden Gallows, no, he comes into BCW alongside Christian Sin. We get two new faces on the roster. They're aligned. They're together. And that was fine because, me and NJM were together at the time. It is what it is. And then, what I don't understand is Christian Sin has enough of Caden Gallows because Christian Sin realized Caden Gallows was a narcissist. Christian Sin realized all the negative things about Caden Gallows, that he's only in it for himself. And he betrayed Caden Gallows. And as a result, Christian Sin became hardcore champion. Caden Gallows goes away for a month. He comes back. What do you know? He found a new puppet. And that's exactly what Ace Swagger is. He's a puppet. I'm going to start normalizing this term for Ace Swagger more and more often. Puppet. Because that's exactly what he is. Caden Gallows found himself, the puppet master, found himself a new puppet. But unlike most of the time, when you take out the puppet master, the puppets stop talking. They stop moving when you take out the puppet master. Not Ace Swagger. He's still running his mouth on social media, this, that, saying F me, F Tsunami, come on. He's just a crybaby. He is a grown man. He's a man child. He's a man child. He's a crybaby. And at the end of the day, he's just so upset that he couldn't be there for his friend. I mean, where was Ace Swagger during this? Well, actually, I know where Ace Swagger was during this. Tsunami.
Well, it's funny you said that because one of the things that we know about the match was Ace Swagger wasn't going to come out. And one of the things that we talked about here on Sportswire in the pre-show, and Mr. Gallows once again set himself up, was that he was going to tell Mr. Swagger to go off. He was going to tell him that he wasn't going to get involved. And maybe that goes back to where Mr. Gallows, well, he signed his own death certificate, which we know he's technically done before in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly correct. He signed his own death certificate when doing what he did. And yeah, well, this might be breaking news. I don't know if this has been said anywhere, but it's Sportswire Radio, and we are very grateful for everything you do for us, Tom. So I'll give you an exclusive. Tsunami absolutely brutalized, absolutely destroyed Ace Swagger right before that match, right before the main event match, because Ace Swagger, he had some time to recuperate. He opened the show, had some time to recuperate. Tsunami took him out, and that was exactly a part of me and Tsunami's plan. We knew what was going to happen after, and we didn't want Ace Swagger there. We wanted Caden Gallows to be on a 2-on-1 disadvantage, because that's the exact type of advantage Caden Gallows has tried to create for himself historically throughout his career.
Well, I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Gallows, well, he certainly right now is in a lot of trouble. But I have to ask you, and I know people want to talk to you, and I'm going to come back to that. But Tommy Good, obviously you wrestled Tommy Good, and obviously a heck of a match. And I know that the ending there wasn't maybe what you had hoped for, but Tommy Good had thought you were going to be the final opponent for your career here in BCW, but you did kind of bring him up briefly. And I have to ask you, you want to say anything to Tommy Good, or is there anything you'd like to directly talk to him about it in terms of that situation?
Yeah, thanks for giving me that opportunity. Actually, I've been meaning to talk to Tommy Good. He hasn't exactly been responsive. He hasn't really been returning my calls here. So Tom, if you're seeing this, just come on back. Listen, Tom, this is it. If you're listening, what I did at Christmas Chaos, it was out of necessity. Caden Gallows, like I said, he took over the company. Ace Swagger costed you your BCW championship opportunity at September to Remember. It wasn't just me at BCW 160. It wasn't, Ace Swagger and Caden Gallows have costed multiple people. Tom, if it wasn't for Ace Swagger and Caden Gallows, you would be BCW champion right now, not Tsunami, not Caden Gallows. And I'm not just looking out for myself here. This isn't a selfish ambition. This is for the genuine betterment of the company, Tom. And I think and you've said as much to Caden Gallows that you don't like the way he did that with Ace Swagger, and I think you would agree with me on that matter. And I know you hate Tsunami. I know how much you despise that man, and for a long time I did too, until I spoke with him. I spoke with him behind closed doors, and his heart's changed. My heart's changed. Who are we if we aren't different people tomorrow? Who are we if we remain the same day in and day out? No, we evolve, we change. We've all evolved. We've all changed. We've all done things that we regret in the past. We are all different people. And I decided to look at my past with Tsunami and ignore it and just like put sole focus on the future. Put the binoculars on. Where can we go? Where can BCW go from here? And Tom, I think you should do the same. I think you should realize the potential this has for BCW, and I think you can have a role in it, Tom. I think you still have a very, very big role in this company. You beat me at Christmas Chaos fair and square. I didn't try to lose that match. I tried to win that match. I don't want to lose any match ever. But Tom, what you did at Christmas Chaos is you defeated me, and that's an incredible moniker. And right now you're probably ahead of me in the BCW title contendership, deservedly so, because you won this match. And I understand that. So maybe we'll have another match to address that. But all I know is that no matter what, under this new attitude, I'm getting back to that BCW championship.
Let me ask you one more question before we get to the chat. I know some people are here from BCW and they've been waiting for this. But what do you want to say, though, to maybe some fans that felt that you lied to them, or some out there that feel that you turned your back on who Maxel Reeves has always been? People have followed you and have loved what you've done for this company. You've been a true company man. But what would you want to say maybe to those fans and anyone else that feel that you lied or betrayed your principles?
Great question. Great question from the best. But I'm going to answer it, and I'm going to answer it honestly. Maxel Reeves is who Maxel Reeves has always been, and a very hyper ambitious person whose only destiny is to see BCW rise to the top of professional wrestling. That's who Maxel Reeves was, 6 months ago. It's who Maxel Reeves was 4 years ago. It's who I am today. And the only thing that has changed is now I understand who I'm in the pool with, if you will. And there is sharks.
Because you and Tsunami do have, listen, I mean, I know now there's a partnership. But not. It's almost like the Austin McMahon alliance way back in the day. You guys have definitely, and he said some things about you as well in the past. I'm sure you still have that in the back of your mind.
Yeah, a little bit, but we had a conversation. We talked those things out. I brought up a lot of what he said about me. He's brought up a lot of what I said about him. We kind of came to an understanding. We came to an understanding that BCW was never going to get fixed. It was never going to get better as if me and him remained on the two polar opposite sides of the spectrum. If me and him aligned, if we put our willpower together, the two most powerful men in BCW, the reason why Tsunami and I hated each other so much is because we were the 1 and 2. Regardless of how you view that order, if I'm 1 or he's 2 or he's 1, I'm 2, we were the 1 and 2 for the longest time since, Tommy Good first lost that BCW championship. He was the one starting off BCW, and then it became me and Tsunami battling out for the 1 and 2 for the longest time. That's why we have 2 BCW championships, right?
Yep.
That we got so competitive and we got so hostile, and we allowed our personal lives to infect the business. And now we're not going to do that again, regardless of what we feel personally, historically, for what's gone down between us. We got to look forward, and looking forward is an absolute takeover of BCW like you've never seen before.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's certainly very interesting times here in BCW. And if you'd like to join BCW, I would certainly recommend you do so by hitting the sub button for them on YouTube. Also, certainly give them a follow on Instagram, and also check out Maxel's page on Instagram. And I think it is now time to let everybody else say what they'd like to, because a lot of people have been waiting here for it. Zilla was waiting for 2.5 hours. I got to tell you, Zilla has asked about you coming on for weeks on Sportswire. So Zilla was number 1, and this wasn't even close. Obviously, yeah, Zilla, we love Zilla on here. I'll break the fourth wall for it. We had a soccer coach on over the weekend here on Long Island, and he was like, Zilla, it was funny. He was like, Zilla is always here. I'm like, yeah, she's number 1. And thank you, Coach Littman, for that. Yes, let's go, Maxel. Maxel is back. Maxel is the RVD of BCW. Well, he may be the whole effing show, and he is certainly the front man. Mr. Aaron Blaze, also from your state, I'm sure has some comments. We'll certainly get that. And obviously, I don't think we're getting you and NJN again. I don't think at this time we're getting that. But
I haven't heard anything about NJN. He dropped
NJN and Christian Sin might be on milk cartons right now.
Well, Christian Sin, I could tell you what I could tell you what I did to that man. I destroyed him. I absolutely destroyed him. I think he's afraid.
Milk cartons.
I think he's afraid to come back to work. NJN, I don't know. That wasn't me. He just disappeared. Who knows? But yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll get to some more comments here. He's coming. Let me get to some comments when people were here. We can't wait. Well, yes, thank you for that. Let's get to some people here. Austin Edwards, who's here next week, wants to say hello. Thank you. Yes, happy holidays, everybody. Please be safe out there. All hail. Who else we've got here in the chat? And also, Maxel Reeves is underrated in the BYW circuit. Well, he's here right now. And obviously, Mr. Aaron Blaze has some comments. We'll get to them. Gallows caught a stray. You gave Liam Gallagher vibes. I'm not quite sure. I thought Nat King Cole, but we'll take it. Speaking of people that are watching you also from the wrestling world, the lover boy himself, Dario Divine, said shout you out. He was watching and he liked what you had to say. And Dario's a fantastic talent in his own right for TPW, EPW, and all wrestling matters. But you have a comment from a man that you've talked about for the better part of 25 minutes, and that is the BCW champion. You are a salty. The day I get back, it's on site.
Oh, please. Big words from a man laying in a hospital bed, absolutely crippled for Christmas. Please be crippled for Christmas, Caden Gallows, because that's exactly what you deserve. I made sure that you'd be on that hospital bed. That was the plan. I knew it. I knew that after what me and Tsunami were going to do, that you were going to require medical attention. Caden, you don't deserve to be home with your family. I know that that's the only thing you wanted when you were away, with training with Seth Rollins, with all these other people. This is what you wanted. You wanted to be home with your family. You were looking forward to Christmas. You knew you'd be home. You need to be home celebrating Christmas with your family. And, It was robbed from you because you decided to rob things from other people first. That's retribution, Caden Gallows. I am not in the wrong here. People say I'm in the wrong here. People say I turned heel. Absolutely, 100% not. No, I'm still in the right here. The only person who's turned heel is Caden Gallows. He's the only person who's betrayed anybody. He's the only person here who has any fault. And if you're a true BCW fan, and if you're a true fan of professional wrestling, you know who you're rooting for in this situation. It's absolutely 100% myself, the front man, Maxel Reeves.
Well, you could certainly make the point. You mentioned Mr. Rollins. He gets to go home to Becky Lynch. And right now, Mr. Gallows, he's going home to a hospital bed. That's where he's going to be for the foreseeable future. I mean, Mr. Rollins, at least
he's getting bathed. He's getting bathed by Nurse Bertha. You know what I mean? He's getting bathed. He's a cripple right now. He can't even walk. He's pathetic, this guy. I'm in the gym every day getting better, looking better. And what is Caden Gallows doing? He's trying to get back to where he was before Christmas chaos. And that's going to take a little bit. Caden, take your time, rest up, but don't take too long because you're the BCW champion. You need to defend that title, bud.
Well, I don't think Mr. Gallows will be going to an Eagles game anytime soon.
No. I will. I'll enjoy some Philadelphia Eagles, especially.
You know, I'll tell you what, the way it looks right now, they've even got a shot at the 2 seed still. So who knows? I mean, a couple of weeks ago, everybody's like, "Oh, the team's imploded." You win a couple games in a row, and things are on the uppity.
People are too reactive in the NFL. You know what I mean? They just relax, let it play out.
I know the NFL. It's people. That's the way it goes. But let me get to a man that has certainly something to say that you would certainly eagerly want to hear what he has to say. That is Tsunami, the founder of BCW. Whole different ball game in 2026, taking back the reins, and I emphasize this in caps, our company this year. Your reaction?
Absolutely. It's our company. We started BCW. It belongs to nobody else. It is our responsibility to make sure this company is successful. And it just so happens that this company is most successful when me and this guy are at the top of the company. So we are going to join forces, and we're going to make that happen any means necessary. Tsunami is going to make sure Ace Swagger has the worst year of his career. I'm going to personally make sure that Caden Gallows has the worst year of his career, and we're going to make them hate wrestling. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Tsunami's spoken a lot about that on his end. I spoke, and then now right here, I get the opportunity to talk in the prime time, the brightest lights, the biggest stage on Sportswire Radio, and I get to say exactly that. Caden Gallows and Ace Swagger, both of them from Maxel Reeves and Tsunami, from the two most influential men in BCW history, you're going to have the worst year of your entire life, both professionally, personally, and emotionally. You're done. Consider yourselves done.
Well, I tell you, this is definitely giving me vibes of WrestleMania 17 when Austin turned on The Rock, and we saw that partnership with Austin and McMahon. We never thought we would saw. Then, Triple H was involved in that, and it's giving me those vibes. And we know what happened after that with Austin and McMahon and Triple H, and they ran roughshod over the WWF at the time for months. And you've got the BCW banner right there. You guys are both holding it. You guys have been, to quote Tsunami, you guys have been synonymous with this company since day one, and there you go, and that's the banner, and we'll get to some more comments. Zilla's here. Also, Zilla wants to say Tsunami and Maxel Reeves made a right choice and a right decision for BCW, and she's not mad at all about it.
Thank you, Zilla. Now, finally, we have a smart fan who actually understands what's going on. We have somebody with eyes, right? We have somebody with intellect. This is exactly. Thank you, Zilla. Thank you. You get it, Tom. You from a lot of the ways you phrase these questions.
I'm gonna still respectfully say we got to give everybody his take, but I'm trying to maybe compartmentalize with what you have told. So I understand where you're coming from to an extent. Yeah, I mean, you might. I don't know if I could fully agree with some of the things, but I understand in some senses where you're coming from because of certainly where Mr. Gallows was and where he intended to be.
Exactly, Tom. I mean, I know you can't exactly say it on air if you agree with me or not, but
can't do that at this point. No, we can't do that. No, with all due respect, we love you and we love Caden, so can't do that.
Yeah, Caden could come on here in a few weeks and spew a bunch of nonsense to you.
I mean, right now he's in a hospital bed. I don't know where he's going to be at this point. I mean, certainly he might be. I don't know. I mean,
he's sipping his cheeseburgers through a straw. That's exactly.
In the hospital. But let me tell you what they're having in the hospital. It's probably a lot of Jello. It's a lot of moldy bread. It's probably he's drinking from a cup with a straw, and it's a lot of soft foods. I mean, that's what
Yeah, very Merry Christmas for Caden Gallows, and a very, very Merry Christmas for myself. That's what I'll tell you.
Well, we're going to get to some more comments. Somebody here has a difference of opinion. Tsunami talked about your father leaving you early this year. How can you stand by that?
You know, the audacity of this person to sit here and leave this comment, it really disgusts me, frankly. I mean, who are you to talk about my family life? Tsunami, I'll answer your question. I answer all questions. I don't dodge nothing here. You know, how can I go back to Tsunami? Well, that's one of the things I brought up. I brought that up to Tsunami. I said, listen, you mentioned this, you mentioned my personal life, you mentioned this, that, and the other thing. And then he went on a list and a rant about all the things I did and said about him too. You see, two wrongs don't make a right. We thought they did back then. They don't. Guess what? We're better people than we were then. I talked it out with Tsunami. He apologized for the things he said and the things he's done against me that hindered my career. I apologized for the things I've said and the things that I've done that hindered his career. So we came to a mutual understanding that, listen, we might not like each other. We might not be friends right now. We still, to this day, I mean, I don't even know. If I call him right now, I'm sure he'll answer. But that's because he's a business partner, not because he's my friend. Do I hope to eventually get back to a point like we were when we were kids where we were best friends? Sure. And if that happens, good. But if it doesn't, it's fine because we're still business partners and we know that if me and him are working together, or if we're in cahoots, if we're operating this ship at the stern at the captain's wheel of BCW, we'll be perfect. We'll be A-okay.
Well, we'll see about if it's going to be perfect. And hit the sub button for BCW here. And obviously, Aaron Blaze has some comments. If you got to fake a retirement, you got to fake one. What you do next needs to be better and real to put you at the top along with your profession. Obviously, people have opinions. But
yeah, I mean, Caden Gallows had to leave BCW to pursue the next step in this profession. I don't have to do that. That's all I'll say. I've gotten offers to be trained by certain people to go to certain different schools to wrestle in wrestling rings. Gotten plenty of those offers. The timing just didn't work out in the past, but in 2026, I'm definitely looking to take that next step. But in the same way, I'm not going to for 1 week. Not for 1 week will I leave this place. Not for 1 week. I've never missed a film day in BCW. The only wrestler to do.
You go back to August 4th, 2021. August 4th, 2021 to where we are today, December 23rd, 2025. There has been a constant throughout that. Mm-hmm. And that is you, Maxel Reeves.
Mm-hmm. And just because I want to go train and pursue these ambitions and like Caden Gallows did, I don't fault him for it, but what I fault him for doing is leaving the way he did. He just walked out and just left us for what? At the worst, most vulnerable time, at a time of transition, at a time of change. I mean, it worked out. I didn't think it was going to at the time. I thought Tsunami was going to drive this company into the gutter, but he didn't. He held it up and he kept it up. And even though
you go back to when you came on here, BCW was right around maybe 500 subscribers or just around it, just over. Well, whatever is rounded off, and it was 500 subs. And then you think about to where BCW is today, but it was you, Maxel Reeves, that really helped propel this company. And I would remind the audience, you had the match that a lot of people think really put BCW on the map with, was that match with this guy named Chase Wakefield and a guy that you pinned. You pinned him here in BCW. You're the guy that put this company further into the stratosphere to where we are today, seeing subscribers the way they are, seeing the viewership, seeing the engagements, seeing all these different things. You were the guy that laid the groundwork for what BCW is, and you're the guy that holds the victory, maybe the biggest victory in BCW history, by defeating an accomplished veteran in the backyard, the underground, and all of the entire wrestling circuit in one Chase Wakefield.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Chase has worked with some of the very best. He is one of the very best in the backyard scene. Him coming into BCW, it came at a time where I desperately needed him to in my career because I just lost the BCW championship. I lost the follow-up at 150. I had a little losing streak developing, and I needed a way to get my confidence back. And going into that match, I had no idea if I'd win or if I'd lose, but I knew that I was going to show up and give it 100% because it's not every day you get an opportunity to work with an established vet whose experience, predates BCW by over 10 years or so. Yeah. So, I mean, that was an absolutely huge opportunity, and it was back and forth, but I put him away quickly, and that reminded me of exactly who I was as a wrestler, who I could be. And I know for a fact that I am somebody who possesses the both potential and the certainty of rising to professional wrestling. I am one of the most charismatic figures in all of backyard wrestling, and I have a presence that commands your attention. And that is something that a lot of these people don't have in backyard wrestling, and it's a quality that you just can't mold, you just can't create. It's natural, it's implicit, and that's exactly what I have. And Chase was somebody who had that same quality, and so when I beat him here, that was a tremendous victory for me. It was a tremendous victory for BCW. It showed people that BCW wasn't a joke, that we weren't here to play, and yeah.
And also, I want to remind you of something else he said after the match he had with you, because he has come on here many times throughout the years, and he felt in a way that it was a passing the torch moment. He felt that this was an opportunity to give back to up-and-comers in the backyard in the underground wrestling circuit. He didn't pass the torch to Caden Gallows. He didn't see Caden Gallows as the guy that was going to lead the backyard in the underground wrestling circuit, let alone BCW into the future. He picked you, Maxel Reeves. He picked you to pass the torch to.
Yeah, he came out when I was speaking for a reason. He wanted the match with me. He got the match with me. We had a great match because of it. And Kate, going back to what you said, he didn't see Caden Gallows as the top of BCW. He didn't see Caden Gallows as the future of backyard wrestling, and that's for good reason. The only person who sees Caden Gallows as the future of backyard wrestling and the future of professional wrestling in general is Caden Gallows, because of the ego that he has, the enormous ego that you just can't seem to escape in Caden Gallows. So he believes that he's all of these things, but the problem is he's not anything of what he says he believes. And I think deep down there's a part of him that knows that, and that part of him is the part of him who has a swagger along his side, the part of him that has Christian sin along his side historically in his career. He's never been alone, and that's because that is the utmost guaranteed presentation of his insecurities. That just shows you that Caden Gallows isn't that guy, even though he tells you that he is, and he projects this bravado and this confidence. That's not who he is at all. Because if that were true, he wouldn't need the help. He wouldn't need the help to win the BCW championship. He wouldn't need the help to retain the hardcore championship like he had several times from Christian Sin. He wouldn't need that help, but he does because he's a fraud.
Well, that's another reason why certainly keeping tuned into what BCW has to offer. Okay, let's not go there and attack people personally. Obviously, we'll move on. Thank you for the comments. It's Blaze, but good to know. Yes, let's move on away from the personal attacks. And I see Sky 5 wants to throw some comment there toward yours truly, but we don't do any lying. We just give everybody an opportunity to speak on Sportswire, and you can see who's come on here, and I don't think I need to prove anything further on that. Fragile Gallows, well, we'll see. We want to become, between you and I kind of respect it. Now, a hit marker might think otherwise from what I've seen on Instagram. Maxel Reeves is the future. Obviously, our friends at ROBW certainly seem to agree. And he is definitely the future. There's no question that he is definitely somebody that we want to see more of. And I think you're getting that right
now. Lot of respect to the guys over in ROBW.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we had CJ Black on here, and obviously it seems that his in-ring career seems to have come to an end, but we love having the guys in ROEW on here. Aaron Blaze has been a part of ROEW in the past, but, guys like Johnny Velocity, Matthew Forsaken, Kyle Keplin, certainly now Jason Storm is back in there, Jacob Collins. I mean, it's a great roster, and we love ROEW as much as we love BCW and everybody else that's out here. So let's stay focused, and also imagine needing someone to carry your career. Couldn't be me. I see the back and forth. I think that's directed to Aaron Blaze.
No, I think he's actually directing that comment to me because ATK on social media over these past few days has been launching these weird attacks, these jabs. I mean, I don't understand why all the
I'm just trying to move on from it, but I mean,
no, I know. I'll just say something real quick because he clearly wants I'm going to give him the attention he so badly needs and so badly wants because he just can't get attention otherwise. Because a big moment happens in backyard wrestling. Maxel Reeves betrays Caden Gallows, makes the rounds as everyone starts hearing about this, and then he decides to mention me and what he sees for.
Well, he's got some more comments about you. I'm going to get to in a minute. Actually, that's why I was trying to deflect from it. But if you say you want it, I mean, he does say that he would gladly pull up to BCW. Now, I know you're aware of that. The headline Aaron Blaze and the hit marker ATK, and Magnum Carter, the MC of the 1, 2, 3, and Dominic, the YBW champion. They're in your state. They're in Belfonte. You're in Ben Salem, and obviously, YBW is side by side with you guys in the state of Pennsylvania. So, I mean, I'm sure you are aware of that there is another company out there in your state, and the hit marker ATK has been very well accomplished. And, BYCW, he has a big match coming up with another legend in the backyard in the underground circuit, Dalton Skull. And ATK has been on here recently several times. And obviously, he's basically saying directly he'll pull up to BCW.
Well, a lot of people here tonight have said that I'm the future of professional wrestling, and I'm going to echo those words. I'm the future of professional wrestling. There can only be one future of professional wrestling, and I'm going to make sure that's me. And I'm going to stop at nothing. It doesn't matter if it's someone in BCW like Caden Gallows who wants to take that spot. It doesn't matter if it's someone outside of BCW like an ATK or an Iron Blaze who wants to take that spot. I'm not going to let it happen. I see myself as the future. Other people see me as the future, and I'm going to make sure that comes to fruition.
Now, I know you're a busy man, but I do want to remind you that your counterparts in the great state of Pennsylvania, the Keystone State, are going to be here Sunday night a little after 9 o'clock, probably about 9:30. They're going to be here after their show, and I'm sure, I know you'll be busy. I know you obviously be doing different things. You and Tsunami will be, planning the future of BCW in 2026, but I want to remind you that the YBW guys, they're going to be here Sunday night. So just saying, obviously, I know you're busy. I know you got a lot of stuff going on.
You never know. You never know. I maybe I make room in my schedule. Maybe I stop by. Maybe I don't.
I'm just throwing it out there. I know Belfonte and Ben Salem. I mean, obviously different parts of the state, but I do want to remind you and let you know, because I know you're busy, that the YBW guys are going to be here about 9:30 Sunday night. So that's all.
Noted. I'll keep that in mind.
Okay. Listening more and more, Max is sounding like a lot like me from a long, long time ago. And also Mr. ATK, the hit marker, also wants to say that prove it to me.
Prove it to you? Okay, I will. I will prove it to you. I will get in that ring with you, and I will show you that there can only be one future, and that future is Maxel Reeves.
You said you'll get in the ring with him, but he works in YBW and KTW and BYCW. You're a BCW man. How would that happen?
Forbidden door swings both ways. You never know. Maybe I show up there.
No!
Here, you don't know. You don't know, Tom.
I don't know. I really don't know. But ladies and gentlemen, it does sound like you just said that you would prove it and you would step foot in the ring with the hit marker ATK. And here's another guy that has certainly got a lot of experience, been to a lot of different places, like you, carried championship gold many, many times. And he's been in there with some of the very best like you. And it sounds to me like you would answer his challenge.
I don't step back from challenges. I'm not Caden Gallows. I don't have other people fight my battles for me. If this is something he believes he can beat me, I know for a fact I can beat him. I know I can make it light work. I know I can make it easy. I know I can do it in a matter of minutes, just like I did to Chase Wakefield. It was a competitive few minutes. It was back and forth. It was a great exchange. But at the end of the day, I knew for a fact, for an absolute fact, that halfway through that match, I knew that I could hang with him. I could feel Chase's veteran presence in the ring, and I could feel like all the versatile amount of holds and everything that he was doing in that match. But at the end of the day, I knew that Chase didn't have the ambition. He didn't have the heart that I did. And neither does ATK, neither does Iron Blaze, neither does Caden Gallows, neither does anyone else who thinks they could take my spot, because they can't. They can't stand up to it. They're not what I am. I'm the only person who can take professional wrestling to where it needs to be in the future.
Well, I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, and even Mr. Wakefield had said that he did want to run it back with you again one day. He said famously after your match when he came on here in the summer that he did want to run it back with you, but I guess we'll have to find out.
I was invited to the wedding invitational.
We still don't know, by the way, what's happened with the wedding invitational since.
Well, we'll find out.
Who knows? Maybe you were there and wrestled Mr. Wakefield. For all we know, you could have had the rematch with him. We don't know.
Well, I think I'm pretty sure that date I was at MetLife Stadium listening to the greatest band in the world, Oasis. But
you know what? Definitely, you were in a Wonderwall there.
Oh, I absolutely was in a Wonderwall.
You want to laugh now? Actually, somebody said to me a couple days ago, they actually want to laugh. Said, "When are you getting Oasis on?"
Oh wow! Now that's a show I definitely want to pop into.
That was what I was told. They said, you've had you had Saliva, you had Megadeth. Can you get Oasis on next? I'm like,
get Nolan Liam in here. Do their
I'll tell you what. If I get Oasis on, I'll make sure. You can DM me, and I'll let them answer one of your questions. You could. I'll tell you. If I get Oasis on in 26, if I get them on, I'll promise you. I'll DM you. I'll let you know, and
Okay.
I'll specifically say on the show. Big Oasis fan, legendary Maxel Reeves, the frontman of BCW, multiple-time world champion, has a question, whatever it might be. And I promise you, if I get the Gallagher's on, if I get the big if, you'll get an opportunity to ask them a question.
Tom, you worked your magic. You've surprised me before with the names you had on here. I mean, the show with Rhino, like you said before.
Yeah, Raven was on here. I just had Raven at Sick Boy of WCW. Yeah, I've had some big names. Yeah, I've had some big ones.
Guys from Megadeth. I mean, you've had like, now you're expanding into music. You're getting into that music.
Yeah. Well, I just spoke to somebody who played, who was Ozzy Osbourne's guitarist. I can't say who. It's a big one. A real big one.
I'm a big music guy, so that's
no
pun intended. That's music to my ears. So
well, we'll see about Oasis. I'll tell you what, we'll see. We'll work on it. Don't just say it. You've already done that. Want to say hello to Sunday's guest, also from your state, the Heartless Sheriff, Mr. Colton Lee, who shares a locker room with Mr. Aaron Blaze. And you really don't know me if you think it'll take a matter of minutes.
I've seen you. I've seen you around for quite a while, actually. We've been in the same circuit for a few years. I've seen you. I know you, and I know I can beat you. And that is the bottom 100%.
I tell you what, you're generating more attention than Caden Gallows did last appearance. So I mean, maybe that's what BCW needs.
I'm a draw. Caden's not. At the end of the day.
Well, that sounds like an Aaron Blaze line in previous episodes. We'll leave that at that. And Maxel Reeves, do you think you can handle a Heartless Sheriff? Boy, you're getting it from all cylinders.
I can handle them all. I mean, oh man, the world's angry at me, aren't they? Everyone's angry. Everyone wants a match with Maxel.
It's a quote Billy Corgan. The world is a vampire.
Exactly. Everyone wants a match with Maxel Reeves, and not everyone can have a match with Maxel Reeves because I'm have a very limited schedule. But for certain people, maybe I open that schedule up. For certain people who maybe talk too much. Some people who need shutting up more than others. Maybe I can open up some schedules.
Well, speaking of talkers that are really interesting, what you have to say. Also from the land down under, Mr. Yoshi Matsuda wanted to say, long live Mr. Reeves. Very impressed. Yeah, people are definitely tuned in. A lot of comments here for a 4:30 show. And an East Coast collision in the mix for 2026. YBW versus BCW. I mean, that's an interesting, thing. And obviously, as an East Coast guy like myself, who does have the YBW guys on every month, I mean, I would certainly be a fan of that. I mean, I would love to see YBW and BCW guys mix up, whether it's Dominic, whether it's Magnum Carter, whether it's Aaron Blaze, whether it's the hit marker ATK. I mean, obviously yourself and Tsunami and Tommy Good. And, I know you may not want to hear this, but Ace Swagger. And if he's okay from the hospital bed when he gets eventually out of it one day, Caden Gallows. I mean, we can keep going.
No. I was just about to say here. This sounds great. This sounds like a wonderful idea. But the problem is there's some people who can't be a part of that match that I don't trust. I don't think that they're going to have our best interests at heart, and we need to win that. That's a big, very important battle of PA, and we need to win that. I need to make sure we're really on our game here. And Caden Gallows and Ace Swagger, they're not. They're in it for them. So let me handle them. And then I promise you, we will get that major battle of Pennsylvania.
Well, I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, there could be a possibility this year. It's a big if. The Eagles and Steelers could be in the Super Bowl, but I think this year, a bigger battle would be BCW versus YBW. Just saying.
You never know. Never know what can happen in this crazy backyard wrestling circuit.
Well, it is definitely an interesting circuit, and the YBW guys are here Sunday night. And crossing those lines or not, I'm open to all possibilities, including company number 23. Waited long enough. I've waited for you boys since April of 2022. Nearly 4 years later, let's see if they can play. Well, stay tuned. And I pay attention to the real ones, and might need to head to my homeland for some interviews. Well, who knows? Maybe who knows at this point. I mean, although I will say, if Oasis does want me to go to the UK, I would certainly go to meet the Gallaghers. I'll tell you that much.
You have to. I'd take a trade over to New York.
Yeah, I definitely think that would be one where I would have to agree. Skulls is here. Good evening. And say what you want. We are the breakouts of the yard for a reason. Let the games begin. You said it at the end of Christmas Chaos 3. Let the games begin, and you definitely have gotten that here today. And I know that we're about to get gifts from Jolly Old Saint Nick, but I wanted to give a gift to BCW because it's BCW Day here on Sportswire Radio, and definitely should be, especially after tonight's show. Yeah, I mean,
I love that. Right before Christmas, you got BCW Day, then you got a little break. Screw Christmas Eve. Rest a little bit, take a little nap, but then you got Christmas Day. So there you go.
Yeah, Christmas Eve. Unfortunately, I actually can't be on Sportswire. I do a show doing news somewhere else, and we're all live at 9:00. So that's why I said you were my last guest before Christmas Day. So I have Sean Jovi will be here Christmas night. He'll definitely he can follow you up, but tomorrow we're gonna let you. Just have full reins from today's show. So there you go. But we'll give you this, I'm sure, for management or somebody to get it in BCW. And we're here with Maxel Reeves for a little while longer. So I got to come back to Ace Swagger, though, because Ace Swagger, we know about the relationship with Tsunami and Ace Swagger. And Tsunami had talked about that vehemently in one of the things that he was upset with Caden Gallows. And I got to talk to you about that whole Ace Swagger situation one more time. And I know that upsets you about Ace Swagger and how he helped Caden Gallows to win the BCW World Heavyweight Championship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that absolutely. So, well, it upset me what had happened at BCW 160, and I thought that Tsunami, I became even more hateful towards Tsunami because I thought that, Tsunami had aligned himself with Ace Swagger, that, that he was doing this selfishly, that he was doing it for the furtherment of his career. And the reality of it is it was revealed at ScareSlam that Ace Swagger was just a plant. He was a decoy. He was somebody who was designed to send to, learn all of Tsunami's secrets, give them all to Caden Gallows. And then when it mattered most, when the BCW Championship's on the line in one of our biggest shows of the year at ScareSlam, Ace showed his colors. He showed who he was aligned with, and he was aligned with Caden Gallows the entire time. And Caden Gallows hinted at it, and he bragged about it. He went out there and bragged about deceiving all of BCW and deceiving everybody into thinking that Ace Swagger was really alongside Tsunami just to get the end result of ScareSlam that we got. And I think it was horrible. I thought it was horrible when Tsunami was aligned with them. But then now from my conversations with Tsunami actually did want the best for Ace Swagger. Like I wanted the best for Caden Gallows. But they can't have the best because the best isn't selfish. And me and Tsunami are very unselfish. I know that might be crazy to hear, but it's very true. We look out for everyone. We look out for the company as a whole. And Caden Gallows and Ace Swagger only care about who are the two champions. And as long as it's them two, they're fine. And right now it's them two. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's not going to be that way for let's just say much longer.
All right, let me ask you this before we get to a couple of other things. Now, you had said earlier that the BCW Championship, you realize that you're not going to get it at the present time, regardless of the situation with Caden Gallows and if he recovers. I got that. So then what would be next for you in the short-term future in 2026?
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I get back to the BCW Championship, and that's going to start with winning matches. So the first goal of me for 2026 is to just win. Win unapologetically, win constantly, win as I have before, this time with this new mentality, with this profound understanding for what it takes to be at the top of professional wrestling. Because I've done it before. I've held it for a long time. I held the BCW Championship for 7-8 months or so.
Yep.
And I took this company to great heights, and I know I can do that again. And I know that I now know that it is in the company's best interest for me to be at the top of the card again. So the goal of 2026 for Maxel Reeves, become 3-time BCW champion, be the first to do so, make history, and be undeniable. That is Maxel Reeves' goals for 2026. And as I understand right now, we don't have a clear-cut number one contender. Christian Sin vanished off the mat. We don't know where he is. We don't have a clear-cut number one contender for Caden Gallows championship. So in the month of January, a lot of it, while Caden Gallows is probably out, maybe he's out January, February, March. At a certain point, he'll probably get stripped of the title because he can't be out for too long, right? But the goal is to maybe get myself into some sort of contendership situation, win that, put my best foot forward, and then see where we can go. But yeah, I understand that there's guys ahead of me right now, who have had more successful runs over the past few months. Guys like Tommy Good.
Tommy Good. That's what I was going to ask you as a follow-up. Mm-hmm. He's the man that beat you. It was supposed to have been your last match. We have no idea how Tommy Good is going to react to all of this. You said a few things about him earlier. I mean,
good things.
Would you just want to run it back with him?
Yeah, I mean, I think if me and Tommy Good run it back, and I would beat Tommy Good, I beat the man who defeated me. I think absolutely, I would be deserving of going up against Katie Gallo. So maybe Tommy Good's my opponent to decide contendership, but I don't know. But all I do know is the first Saturday and Sunday. This is an exclusive I'll give you right here. This is something that I know. This year, Gridlock will be a 2-night event. It will be night one. We are going to have a hardcore championship match, and we're going to have a BCW championship match. And on night two will be the Gridlock match. And we're giving the Gridlock match its own whole night this year because of the fact that we're hoping to have more entrants, as many people as possible as we can get out there and get involved with this thing, because we want competition. That's what we want to foster. We want as many people in the mix as possible and buy-in for that once a year opportunity of main event and Trampomania alongside the BCW champion. But I can tell you this: Katie Gallows will not be BCW champion come Trampomania. I'm going to make sure of that.
Whoa, ladies and gentlemen! Before we sign off here. You heard it here first. Gridlock is coming. We're going to see as many entrants as possible. And it's going to be not one, but a 2-night event. That's why you have to subscribe to BCW on YouTube. You have to do that. Trust me. You just don't know what the future is. And it is certainly very interesting times ahead here in BCW, especially in 2026. And Maxel Reeves, the front man, he has showed it here tonight throughout the conversation that he is going to be writing a new tune, and it's going to be a Wonderwall, certainly at the expense of one Caden Gallows, and chestnuts are going to be roasting on an open fire. And right now, it's on a hospital bed for one Caden Gallows, and that is why you have to hit that follow button for me on Instagram for BCW. You have to go out there and follow Maxel Reeves on his Instagram page and join the conversation. We're going to have more BCW coverage, a lot of it ahead here in the coming weeks because, well, right now, this is a big topic, and Maxel Reeves on Sportswire always delivers, and he certainly got quite a crowd here that's been interested. That's why it's BCW Day here. And that's why we have him as the last guest before Jolly Old St. Nick comes down the chimney there. And yes, Yoshi, happy holidays and happy New Year to everybody. See you in 2026. But we've spoke a lot tonight. And is there anything else you want to bring up before we get to closing thoughts?
Sure. I want to speak to Caden Gallows because I know he's listening. He ain't got nothing else to do. Can't go to the gym. Can't eat the way he wants to. Can't do the activities he wants to. Can't spend time.
No Eagles games. Going to be watching in person, right?
No Eagles games. Caden Gallows goes to a lot of Eagles games. Let me tell you, he loves the Eagles. I don't know. I don't think he loves them more than me.
I don't blame him. The Eagles have been the Super Bowl champions. They're a good team. I mean,
you can go to all the Eagles games.
I'm from Brooklyn. My best friend I went to high school with, Andy Chow, was a diehard Eagles fan. He was a diehard Eagles fan. I get it. I get it.
Yeah, you get it. Yeah. So he wants to have his fun and go to Eagles games. Chase those personal experiences for himself because he's selfish. He's a selfish guy. And I've missed a lot of Eagles games because I was worried about Ben Salem Championship Wrestling. And that's exactly that's the difference between me and Caden Gallows. So Caden Gallows, as a closing remark, I'm going to tell you this. Listen to me good. Turn up your volume. Make sure that your volume's all the way up for this one. Caden, I'm going to tell you this right now. 2026 will never be the same for you that you've had your entire career, where you think you can just come out here and dominate. You think you can just win championships, win matches, have success, steal success from everyone else. No, because this is a different Maxel Reeves. This is a Maxel Reeves who realizes who he is. This is a Tsunami who realizes who he is. These are two people who have finally realized their importance in this company, and the two people who have finally realized that we cannot allow cancers like you in our locker room and in our environment. So, Caden Gallows, I'm going to destroy you in 2026. I'm going to make sure that I'm going to make you leave BCW, not because management said so, not because you're fired, not because of any of that. I'm going to make you leave because you're going to be so embarrassed that you're not going to want to show your face in this company in front of our audience ever again.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, certainly the gloves are off. Maxel Reeves tonight has laid the groundwork for let the games begin, especially in BCW. And Caden Gallows may have held on to that BCW championship, but he very well may be clinging to it. Like right now, he is in a hospital bed because he is going to be clinging for dear life, especially now that Maxel Reeves has an unholy alliance, you might want to say, with BCW founder Tsunami. And boy, this definitely caught a lot of people off guard, but maybe not so fast, ladies and gentlemen. And maybe these two men had a lot more similarities than any of us thought. And that's another reason why you most certainly want to follow BCW here in the future. You most certainly want to keep it here locked in on Sportswire Radio because we will have plenty of BCW coverage ahead. And I can tell you what, after what happened at the historic Christmas Chaos 3, you most certainly need to follow and watch all of BCW's content ahead because, like I said, BCW is going to be a company that you're going to be paying attention to very, very closely. And it sounds like tonight for me, many, many people elsewhere outside of BCW will be doing the same thing. And that's why it is also BCW Day here on all Sportswire radio platforms. And Zilla wanted to say, what about me, Maxel Reeves, to quote Raven? What about me?
I love Zilla. No problems with Zilla. Zilla seems to be the most intelligent BCW fan out there today. He seems to be one of the only people who understand it. So, you know what?
I hear you. No, Zilla is great. We love Zilla. No, definitely. When we break the fourth, but when we get outside guests, say, no, I've seen Zilla on the stream. She's a fan. And happy BCW Day, absolutely. And happy holidays to everybody out there. Yes, be safe on the roads, whatever it might be. So let me pass the baton to you. Let me give you some closing thoughts. Anything else that we haven't got a chance to? The floor is now yours.
All right. Well, now that I've already said my piece to Caden Gallows, I don't want to focus on him too much because he doesn't deserve it. And frankly, it's not good for ratings. So let me tell you about something that means a lot to me. Ben Salem Championship Wrestling, we had a great 2025. We had a fantastic 2025, very successful, immensely successful. And going into 2026, our goals are only getting greater. We push those goalposts back. We could keep pushing those goalposts back. We're looking to create more viral content, continuing to get the most engagement we can. And, what you saw at Christmas Chaos is just a precursor to what you get in 2026. So expect things like more matches, expect things to change around BCW in the best possible way because you have two people who are very committed and very passionate to BCW who are going to do whatever it takes to restore those titles to the people who actually should be champions in this company, unlike Caden Gallows and Ace Swagger, who couldn't lace our boots.
Well, I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, certainly interesting times ahead here in BCW, and Maxel Reeves has certainly told us a lot. And that's why I continue to say it throughout the conversation. Let the games begin. The Christmas chaos has begun, and it was at the expense of the BCW champion, Caden Gallows. It's his move, and we'll certainly see what happens with him and Ace Swagger, and obviously make the date. I'll be waiting, but I guess we'll have to stay tuned. And I mean, that's just, we'll have to find out. And there you go. Just when you thought you knew everything, anything can happen. I agree with that. Anything can happen, and see you soon. And the YBW guys will be here Sunday night. So, I guess we'll have to, I'm sure, get their response. And I know you'll be busy. Like I said, I know you'll be busy, but nevertheless, you never know. Listen, certainly nothing surprises me out there in the world. But I do want to thank everybody here for tuning in. I hope everybody has a wonderful Christmas Eve, and I'll see everybody here on Christmas Day at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So I hope you get a chance to have as many gifts and as much happiness as possible. And speaking of people that did want to come in before we sign off, the man that passed the torch to you. He didn't pass the torch to Caden Gallows. He didn't pass the torch to Ace Swagger. It was to you. There he goes. Right before we sign off, and there is Mr. Chase Wakefield, and he did want to come in and say hello. And I guess I'll have to ask him one of these days about his thoughts on BCW right now and what you did. And I know who knows. Maybe we'll see him again one day in BCW.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I'll be listening.
I'll be waiting. Hopefully I get to listen too. Hopefully I'll get to watch, right?
Absolutely, Tom. You're the reason why we connected. You're the reason why all this happened, all this craziness. Chase Wakefield walking into BCW. You're the reason why that happened. We would have never even known Chase Wakefield.
It happen, but we appreciate that.
No. But I do. I give you a lot of credit in that because you having this platform as a way to connect all these different wrestlers. It's a beautiful thing. It really is.
We love being here. We love all the companies. Shout outs to YBW, DBW, obviously BCW. All RWW is here. I love all the companies, and we're really grateful for everybody coming here. And I agree with you. 2025 has been a great year on Sportswire. I love the connection we've made with a lot of new companies. And
Tom, I'll even say it. I don't know if this has been said before, but I think Sportswire Radio is the forbidden door of professional wrestling.
Stop. Well, technically, we've had WWE on. Technically, you're gonna, don't. Yeah, I appreciate you, but I wouldn't go that far. But You know, maybe if I get Oasis on, all right, maybe you could say
Yeah.
it then.
I will definitely say
I
that.
think it's a possibility. I really do. I mean, I wouldn't be. I'll see what I can do. I promise you, I'll make the effort. I mean, the Gallaghers really don't do interviews. You do realize that they really don't do interviews. The Gallaghers.
It's not every day that Reverend Thomas Bryce hits you up for an interview. So you got to answer that call.
Well, yeah. Well, all right. I mean, we'll see. All right, we'll tell you what. But you know what? We thank everybody again. Go enjoy the rest of your pre-Christmas Eve. Enjoy Christmas Eve. We love everybody. Thank you for being here. We'll see the YBW guys Sunday night. Please follow BCW and Maxel Reeves. And until then, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. On the number one global radio station that is Sportzwire Radio, where all music, all sports, and all wrestling matters. Have a great Christmas, everybody. We'll see you Christmas night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. And yes, I agree with you. Let's go. Thank you for being here, Sky 5, and high five to you and everybody else. See you soon.
Merry Christmas.